There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment, and here we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to another episode of Positive Talk. Sometimes, Michelle, I have no earthly idea what show I'm on.
That's fine. We figure it out as we go sometimes. That's the role of life.
because on Brushwood Media, we do Greatest Vibes Unplugged, and I do Unscripted Politics, and I do Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. So I do all kinds of stuff. So welcome, Rochelle. It's so great to see you. And you're in Salt Lake, and is it snowing there yet?
Yes, we finally got our first snow in the last 24 to 48 hours. And it is freezing cold. We got down to 20 degrees last night. So my little self is pushing and through it, but our guest has nothing but rays of sunshine. So I'd like to welcome Kerry Blaser. She is an author and does so many amazing things. She has little workbooks and all sorts of stuff. So Kerry, welcome. How are you? And tell us a little bit about the work you do.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm in Ventura, California, and it is sunny outside here for sure. So it's probably a little bit warmer, but I'm a mother, a shaman, and an author. This year I published my first book, My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain. And I share how I went from a suicide attempt to embracing my shamanic gifts to experiencing enlightenment and how I learned how to transform my wounds into personal wisdom. So I'm here to share all that good stuff with you today.
Now, Kerry, I've heard the term enlightenment quite a little bit. What does enlightenment mean to you?
No, that's an excellent question because I have a master's degree in East Asian religious studies.
Oh, wow.
So I've studied enlightenment academically. I've lived in Chinese Buddhist monasteries. I've been to Tibet. I've seen a thing or two around what they call enlightenment, but I had to figure it out on my own. So I graduated my master's degree in 97. And I started healing from my childhood trauma in 2015. And the first time I experienced enlightenment was March of 2024. And it was just gnarly. Like, honestly, the best, it was just gnarly. I'm from Southern California. I can say gnarly. Like, I was raised here. I'm a Cali girl. Come on, it's appropriate. It's in my lingo. Okay. So it was a Tuesday afternoon and I was sitting in my recliner and I was it was like I could feel the electricity through my veins, like zzz, 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 zzz. And I'm like, what is happening? And I could barely sleep or eat or drink. And the next morning, while the vibration was getting more and more intense, I heard an alarm in my head, like enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. I'm like, okay, I must be here. Oh my gosh, And so then I was guided. First, I received wisdom, and then I let go of the fears. It's like in with the new, out with the old kind of process with the energy. So I asked the universe, what do I need to learn? And it showed me how when our worldview is that God is male, then we're out of balance because that's just divine masculine. What about divine feminine? And creation is feminine. And so it showed me that we need to value God as both divine feminine and divine masculine, and then all kind of the downstream impacts of that. But and then I was shown fears, oh my gosh, fears. And it lasted 3 days. And at the end of 3 days, I had lost 12 pounds and I was about 20 pounds heavier now than I was then when I started. And my kids are like, Mom, you need to go to the doctor. Like, are you sure you didn't have a manic episode? Or are you crazy? Because And that's typical. I did more and more research. So no, I didn't have a manic episode. But what I learned is that enlightenment is an emotion. So physicists have proven that we all have energy bodies or souls, and that our energy bodies vibrate at different frequencies when we express different emotions. Like shame is 20 hertz, anger is about 80 hertz, courage is like 200 hertz, love is about 500 hertz, and enlightenment and emotion, an expression of the soul, is 700 to 1,000 hertz. I'm like, oh, that's why I lost so much, because I just like that. That's very high vibrating, So, but that kind of high vibrating energy is what allows the soul to be so transformative, to receive profound wisdom and then let go of catastrophic fears. And so I studied Carl Jung. I studied the Map of Consciousness by Dr. David R. Hawkins, like Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I'm a nerd, so I needed to know. And that's what I found out.
I have to tell you this because my friend, I don't know, I don't know if you've heard of her. Her name is Burchelle. And she's been going through some of these. So I'm going to set my happy self aside, and I want her to ask you some questions because I think they're pertinent to our discussion. Is that okay, Burchelle?
Yeah. Okay, so if I'm thinking about it in kind of, there's always like this middle state, but then there can be a quick flip, if that makes sense. So it's a lot of times I've realized now that when we're drawn back right before something major is about to happen, it's for the better purpose to launch us forward. It doesn't have to be something that sets us back. It can be a pause for us to evaluate and confirm and live and embody what that next is, and then it comes. I've experienced things today in the last 12 hours because of where I was at in my mind, what I've been thinking about, how I've been vibrating differently in just the last week, and everything it's coming to me in that vibration. I learned, and I told Kevin, I've heard it before, but it never hit me the same because I do understand so much now. But there is a poor version of me. There is a healthy version of me. There's a sick version of me. There's a happy version and an angry version, all these different things, all playing out at the same time in the same timeline, but at a different frequency. And I can choose where I'm setting my frequency to be. But at times there's things that happen, right? Life. And you'll feel your vibration drop. And sometimes trying to bring it back up makes it more hard. And then I feel like I'm fighting myself. So I get naturally angry, as a person would do. So how did you kind of manage that? When you're feeling those steps moving,
Yeah.
but then there might be like an energy drop rather than something physical around me, it's within.
So I have a physics experiment for you that it keeps me on the guardrails. Like I don't go off the deep end, I don't get all delusional. And the laws of physics really help me because if something's true, it's true in multiple places. And so like the feminine is wisdom, the masculine is knowledge, and we need balance between the both. And so we've heard, learn to surf the waves of life. That's the wisdom, right? Well, why do you have to learn to surf waves? Like, why is there up and down necessary? So it's necessary from multiple perspectives. One, our energy has to be fluctuating to be alive. So the goal is not to be in enlightenment all the time. That's not the goal, because then you'd be stuck up here. The goal is to move between your emotions, be in and out of the shame, guilt, and fear, back up to the love, compassion, and enlightenment, back down to the shame, guilt, and fear, and back up to the, so that fluctuating energy keeps you alive. Now, in general, when you get healthy, you don't spend a lot of time in fear, guilt, and shame, but the ability to go into your darkness, into your shadow, into your subconscious is where you locate more self-belief, more self-confidence, and then you bring that out into the light to climb your next mountaintop. So it's a 2-ball experiment. And so imagine there's 2 identical balls on 2 tracks that are the same distance. One is slightly downhill and one has hills and valleys. So the distance traveled is technically longer. Which ball reaches the finish line first? The slightly downhill track A or the hills and valleys track B?
A?
Yeah, I would say.
No, B, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? And I can show you the video. So it's on my website if you want to check it out, kerryblaser.com. But so if you start the balls, the one at the top of the hill to go down first, it goes down and it gains momentum, propulsion, and inertia to climb its next mountaintop, and then down the next mountaintop. So, and additionally, so the more hills and valleys you add, the faster the ball goes. Because like, if you think about it, if you want to climb Mount Everest, if you want to go that high and, you know, look from that perspective, how much training, how deep into training do you have to go? Equally deep, right? So if you want Mount Everest sized wisdom, you have to take on Mount Everest sized wounds to gain the propulsion and momentum necessary to catapult you that high. And so the goal in life is to expand your emotional range, not just to stay into enlightenment. It's the ability to go up and down, because every time you go down, you have an opportunity to find more self-belief, more self-confidence, more like tools in your toolbox, so to speak.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfectly, because it makes sense with how I've heard it tie in with how you handle, how you perceive, how you, like, I can go through that low, but where do I choose to be in that low? I can allow it to happen, but I can approach it with love and understanding and compassion so I can move through it rather than to hit that blocker. We can just remove the blocker by removing fear. I get it. Okay.
Yeah,
I love that.
and make sure you get the wisdom out of it. It's not just to remove the fear, but it's the wisdom. Like one time I turned a wound, which is fear all men, into wisdom, which is men protect me. And so with that, like the fear to wisdom, once you have the wisdom, the forgiveness and the let go will just naturally happen. But when it is kind of, that's the glow up, right? You go, oh, it's, you know, or the knowledge, right? Whichever it is. But like, don't forget that really cool step, like the diamond in the coal, you know, you don't want to.
Well, that's what sets you in your energy. So it kind of allows it to build momentum. So I get it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, see, and so what if you are like, I have been described as having both positive masculine energy and also feminine energy. Is that even possible?
Yes.
It is. So if you think about the yin and yang symbol, right? Where you have like 90% white with about 10% black, and then 90% black with 10% white, where the black is the feminine and the white is the masculine. So this kind of aligns with us when I'm healthy, I'm spending about 90% of my time in my right brain. And then when I'm in my right brain, the forgiveness, the compassion, the nurturing, the creativity, the femininity, then that balances my hormones. As a woman, I used to spend way too much time in my left brain, you know, in school, going to college, working, providing for myself. Then I became out of hormonal balance. So it's, yes, you have, men and women have to have both. But the question is, what is a healthy balance for the individual? You know, 10 is on average, but for some men, maybe 20% femininity, some men, maybe 5% femininity. It just depends on the man. So that's probably where, you know, that, you know, kind of came out of. But communication and talking is feminine, and you spend a lot of your day talking. So how do you know, you could spend the rest of your day chopping wood, you know, fixing cars.
No, I can't. That's not. See, the interesting thing is that I'm a communicator, and I love to talk to people. Chopping wood, not so much. I'll hire somebody to do that because I prefer to have the conversations like this. I got to tell you, Kerry, you are remarkable. Thank you for being on the show and for being who you are, because so many people are going to get such great information from this show and what we are doing together. And we're also going to talk about your book and everything that you're doing. We need to take a real quick break. It's just going to be like, I don't know, 40 seconds. So stay with us, everybody. And we'll be right back. Rochelle is right there. Kerry Blaser is right there. My name is Kevin, and we're having a dynamic discussion. Stay with us, please. Are you looking for a powerful way to grow your brand while making a real difference? Well, Positive Talk is the perfect platform to align your message with inspiration, hope, and meaningful conversations. By sponsoring Positive Talk, your brand will reach an engaged audience that values positivity and connection. People who want to support companies that share their values. Take this opportunity to showcase your business in a space that uplifts, inspires, and creates lasting impact. Don't wait. Email me, kevin@kmmedia.pro today to learn how you can partner with us and spread positivity while growing your brand. And welcome back to Positive Talk. Rochelle's right there, and Kerry Blaser is our guest today. And I got to tell you, by the way, she has a book out. And we were talking about this, Rochelle, before we got on the air. And she said, yeah, it just came to me. And I am a firm believer, and I've got stories to back it up, that sometimes and many times music, poetry, being an author, many things in life are gifts from the divine, and they come to us from either our inner self or our higher self, and they are coming through us for a specific reason, because it needs to be told. And Kerry, you agree with that, don't you?
Oh, 100%. Our souls, our divine souls are in charge of everything.
And so it's really cool that happens. And Rochelle, I know I want you to take the lead on this, because here's the thing, Kerry.
Yeah.
I met Rochelle 2 years ago, and Rochelle was a wonderful young lady, but she was a little scattered and a little lost. Over the last couple of years, I'm sorry, what?
Chaotic.
Chaotic. That's a good word for it. Over the last couple of years, with the types of individuals that we've had on the show, it's like being in college 101. And she is learning so much from so many people. And I know she's going to have questions for you, because her energy is changing. Her ability to see spirits and to see other things are changing a little bit. And so I want her to be able to thoroughly understand what's going on, because she is, I got to tell you, in the last 2 weeks, she's changed a tremendous amount, and she sees it and she feels it. Is that even normal, Kerry?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I missed that question. I'm sorry. What is normal or not normal? I'm sorry.
Is it normal for her to be going through these rapid changes and to recognize these changes are occurring? Correct me if I'm misstating this at all, Rochelle.
No, it's really like, if I believe I can have it, then I will achieve what I need to accomplish it, and it will work out the way it's supposed to. It's weird.
Great.
I've always said that, but I feel it now.
It's really great that you approach life like that, because our souls have a plan for our success, right? Like, we are programmed for success. Like, my soul was programmed to take on, Mount Everest sized wounds, so that, in my 50s, I could, reveal Mount Everest sized wisdom. And it's all part of the plan, And so, and now is the time for self healing. And in 2012, when the Mayan calendar, the time cycle ended, people thought, oh, end of times, 2012. No, it just meant that we're starting a new time cycle. And the new time cycle is the time of self-healing, because self-love creates heaven on earth. We
Yeah.
create heaven on earth in our hearts when we love ourselves and we calibrate our nervous system with love, compassion, and enlightenment instead of fear, guilt, and shame, because we attract what we are through energetic resonance, through our energies matching and resonating. So there's the whole, like, physics can describe that process, that spiritual process for us now, which is really helpful. But yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
can,
almost
yeah. Like, how is it not heaven on earth with those mountains behind you on the beach in, Southern California? That's heaven. It's just our relationships that are the challenges.
yeah, and that can also be the same because it's like, a lot of people will say, like, you quantum jump, your energy, but
Mhm.
it really is so much more simple than that, and I love that you mention having to go through the lows to come to the highs, because if somebody would have
Yeah.
put that into my perspective so much younger in life and been like, "Hey, if it can go this dark and this deep, imagine how good it can get on the flip side of this." Because you
Yeah.
don't see that in those moments, and a lot of
Mhm.
people listening to this, they're going through something and they're like,
Yeah.
"Whatever," and I can't even imagine that. Try. What if, Like, there's positive ways to flip the what if questions, I guess,
Yeah.
but when you go through that transition, and I know Kevin asked, like, I'm asking myself the same question, like, is it normal for, like, it's it's like a spring. That's how I'd imagine it, like, it's been pulled back
Yeah.
for years and years and years and years, and somebody just let it go, and, I guess that person was me, but I didn't expect things to happen so rapidly, like, I'm serious, in the last 12 hours, the things that have fallen in line, all with what
Mhm.
I've been
Well,
doing.
that's how it happens. Like, I had 35 years of debilitating lower back pain that started when I was 15. And then
Mhm,
4 years ago, because I started healing 10 years ago. So 6 years
mhm,
into my healing journey, after my suicide attempt, after I had done like 4 medicine journeys, and I finally figured out that physical pain is mirroring emotional pain. It's like, oh, and I had all this, like, my womb was emanating pain every single
yeah.
day. And this is all in my book. I call them my heroes in my book because they mirrored my wounds back to me so I could see where I needed to heal and improve. So during our first longer conversation, kind of engaged my womb. I spoke from my femininity, and there's actually the vagus nerve goes from the womb to the voice. And so I engaged my womb, and then it was right at the beginning of yoga class. And then I went through the whole yoga class and no lower back pain, which had never been that case in 35 years. And I talked to him afterwards, like, oh my gosh, my lower back pain is gone. What happened? But when you do the work, things happen in an instant. And it seems like, oh, but all those years of work, but the wisdom I gained from that pain is that pain is beautiful because it reveals what longs to be healed. So if you have ongoing chronic pain, if you have autoimmune, if you have cancer, the body is a mirror of the soul. So if you have wounds, pain, problems in the body, you have emotional wounds in the soul to take care of. And you think, well, how does a kid get that? Well, we take on 15 to 20 generations of emotional pain that are stored in our DNA that we inherit from our parents.
Mm.
So, and then when the soul
Great.
incarnates, it also brings, wounds from other past lives. So, there's plenty of emotional pain to go around to create problems in
Yeah.
the body. But and then they've done research on it. Like, in all the cancer centers in America, they found that 7 of the 9 symptoms of cancer patients, it's emotional pain. Yeah.
Hmm. Well,
Wow,
Yeah.
go ahead,
Yeah.
Kevin,
go
I
ahead,
just had to
Brielle.
say, because the
It's in I
emotional
go into it in
state
my
that
book, though. If you want to, like, start learning about it, in my book, My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain, I go into what it's called epigenetics. It's a whole field of science, and I talk
well,
about it
let's
in there
talk
too.
about your book, like, right
Yeah.
now in just a second, but a point you just made that is massive as well, you just have these little things you keep on, like, "Yes, that's so good." It's, like, tying all the dots together, it's like connect the dots,
Yeah.
but it's so important because you can, like that spring, that whole time I've been learning. I've been,
Mm.
what even is healing? How do you do it? It's been hard. It has. But then all of a sudden, like you said, when that veil comes off, you realize it all of a sudden is not that difficult. And what you thought, well, no, let me rephrase that. You know what you know, but when the knowledge turns into emotion and you embody what that feels like in the healing state,
Mm.
that's where the flip happens. And that's why
The
is
flip,
that
like
why
the
it's so
wound to
fast and
wisdom,
so
I think
simple?
what I call it is the
Yeah.
pain to purpose. Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes,
mean,
because even when you mention the yin yang, and I think about when people get in relationships, if somebody's 70%, like even if they're matching masculine and feminine energy, they tend to clash rather than even each other out, whether they're similar or not. So, okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole a little bit, but Kevin,
See,
I know Kevin
see,
has a question about your book, so I want to talk about that.
okay. Yeah.
so Kerry, first of all, I
Yeah.
want to introduce you to somebody who doesn't live in California. And he doesn't live in Florida, and he doesn't live in Europe. He lives in Kenya, and he feeds 350 children every week. His name is Samuel, and he checks in with us. And Rochelle, go ahead and read what he has to say today.
Hi, Samuel. Hi, team, everybody. He says, greetings, Brother Kevin, Sister Burchelle, and guest Kerry Blaser. Receives greetings from Kaiberia Restoring Hope Youth Center, based in Kaiberia slums, Nairobi, Kenya. We are watching you live. This is our favorite program show, Positive Talk. God bless you, my brother Kevin and Sister Burchelle, for hosting this program. Thanks for highlighting our feeding program here in the slums of Nairobi, Kenya to the world. Our aim is to make sure no child goes to bed hungry. And he really does. Samuel is a beautiful soul. He is trying to show the kids that there can be better just with one person making a decision through what he's doing. And he's almost to 400 kids and their parents. And so we fully support that. Everybody has their purpose.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow, thank you.
And so,
Yeah.
Kerry, this is indeed a worldwide presentation. So you are being heard around the globe as we speak. And I wanted to make this point because as we get into your book, because you said something that our soul goes back generations. And we are, and I have said this often on the show, that this was what I planned for myself before I was even here. It was the contract that I put together because this is how I wanted to contribute to the world by doing things like having Samuel on, having you talk about your book, because it's so important for the health and the vitality and the healing of humanity. And I wanted to make sure that first of all, do I need to be on medication, or could that have actually happened?
I don't think I think you're fine. This actually happened. Yeah, we're good.
So, but was this when I signed up for the contract that we all have? Every
Yeah.
one of us has got an idea of what we want to accomplish in this life. Whether we get there or not is a horse of a different color, but we come into this with the idea that this is what we want to do, and regardless of what it is. And there's a timeline that happens with that the experiences that we have in life give us what we need to be able to accomplish our mission. Am I close?
You are 1,000,000% correct that our souls plan everything. Okay, so like my soul needed to be born on June 25th, 1970, in Scottsdale, Arizona. My mom's soul needed to pass away on June 25th in Ventura, California. This is how much our souls are constantly communicating. And we choose those moments based on how the energy is going to be aligned. Like there's a reason that the three-eye atlas is coming through right now, and it's going to come the closest point to Earth on December 19th, on the same day that a comet is going to be the closest it will ever be to Earth. Like there's a reason all of these forces are aligned and working together. This is, yeah, we're souls having a human experience, and our souls are multi-dimensional beings. So, and every soul houses all of the wisdom and knowledge in the universe. So, my soul, I've experienced enlightenment, doesn't mean that I have tricks and things in my soul that everyone else doesn't have. No, it's just that I'm an older soul who has been through more, had more lifetimes, had more experience, more opportunities to expand my emotional range, expand my consciousness, and then I can benefit from all of that in now my next lifetimes. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And by the way, do you know what happened on June 25th,
What?
1876?
What?
The Battle of the Little Bighorn, and George Custer was killed. I was at that battle.
Wow.
So we are connected from that, and that's how connections work, isn't it?
Yeah. Totally. For sure. Through synchronicities. So our souls communicate through our heart spaces. The physicists have proven this too. We have energy bodies. We all communicate through our heart space, and the electromagnetic field around our heart is 5,000 times stronger than our brain. And the nervous system in our heart is far more complex than our brain. And our heart sends far more signals to our brain than the other way around. So our soul, it communicates through our heart up through our nervous system into our brain, and out from there. So our souls are in charge, and now we have proof that our souls are in charge. And so it's like a whole new day. But of course, this all makes sense that now is the time for self-healing, because we need to know how do things work physically. That really speaks to men. It speaks to me too as a woman, but also spiritually. Where's the wisdom? And where does it align? And then we know how we can turn our wounds into wisdom, how together, the more each of us embrace self-love, the more we can create heaven on earth together, because changing the world is an inside job. The only way to create more loving, compassionate, enlightening experiences is for that naturally to come out of our soul through our nervous system. But if my soul has so much fear, guilt, and shame in it, then my nervous system will attract fear, guilt, and shameful experiences, creating more of that on earth. Does that, you see what I'm saying? So it's a slow, we all have to do the work, is what I'm saying.
Oh, it's downright brilliant, I do have to say. Kerry Blaser is our guest. We need to take our halftime break, and when we come back, I want to ask this question, because you said that you communicated from your womb to your throat and stuff, but I don't have a womb.
What
so how does a man do it?
I don't know the anatomy there. I just was like, how did I heal? Because communication is feminine, and the vagus nerve is instrumental to anxiety and well-being. So I'm not sure how that goes in the masculine body. I'm not an expert in that.
Well, very good. I'm not even going to go there. I don't know. So and we're talking
in
about
your belly button.
Okay. I'll accept that from my base chakra or some silly things. But in any event, we need to take this quick break. We'll be right back more with Burchelle. And I know Burchelle's got something else that profound that she would like to ask Kerry. But we also need to talk about Kerry's book, which is called My Inner Heroine, and how that will benefit you, especially as a woman, to recognize your gifts and understand who you really are, who you were designed to be, not what everybody has spent their entire existence in life telling you what you are. You need to go on a journey and figure that out for yourself. And I'll ask her if that's true when we come back. We'll be right back right after this.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. I got to tell you, Rochelle, we're having a wonderful time. Are you having as good a time as I am, my dear?
Yes, my brain is firing today. It's been doing that, so I'm gonna just let it. But Kerry, before we move forward, I just want to ask you these two things. We don't have to dig too deep, and we're gonna have to have you back on the show anyway. So, well, there's two things that you said. The first one I was thinking of was, okay, let's start with the aura because I remember that one. But with your energy and your state of frequency, to think of it as our human self is inside of our soul. So that's why we talk about energy and chakras out here, right? So you can maybe push your aura out a little bit. You can bring it in. Me learning that was massive. Did you learn anything around that?
Well, I would say how I went about it is there's a meditation that I do to ground into my body and ground into all the chakras. And then I open my heart. So it's really important when you're doing your emotional work to ground into yourself. And I do that usually with a gratitude practice because gratitude is a heart opener and it also grounds you and it calms the nervous system. And then once the nervous system is grounded and you're grateful for your challenge in life, then you can surrender to your pain and learn the lesson, learn the wisdom inside of the wound.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the other thing I want to touch on is there's got to be somebody else out there that's going to hear this and think, okay, we mentioned all these things about your soul and all these lives. Does it ever end?
No. It was just constant expansion. So during one of my enlightenment experiences, I asked the soul that, well, how are masculine and feminine souls created? And this is what I was told, that initially we were like each masculine and feminine soul were embodied inside of one soul. So one soul had both masculine and feminine qualities. And then we started to expand. And then it got to the point where we needed to split into two souls to expand further. And so, so we needed to be able to see ourselves so that we could, as like a constant feedback loop for self-improvement. The universe is a mirror. We've all heard that. The universe is a mirror. The universe is a mirror. Well, that is true. The universe is a mirror showing you yourself in every moment. Like when I notice selfishness outside of myself, that is my soul showing me the selfishness inside of myself. Because I can't control the other person. The other person is selfish. All I can do is draw a boundary. But the only person I can really change is me. So in order to have this mirror, we needed feminine souls and masculine souls. So this is what happens. In order to split from the one into the two, the intent to create the masculine soul creates the feminine soul. And the feminine soul tears out half of her heart chakra to create the masculine soul. And so one way we know this is true is because things are true in multiple places. Well, the feminine soul is source energy. Like, the feminine soul channels more souls into the womb and then gives birth, right? So our nervous systems are far more robust than men's nervous systems. And men having a more fragile nervous system allows them to disconnect from their emotions, plan and strategize, chop wood,
That's not fair.
I just tease him, but kind of disconnect from our neurological system like that and just be physical and plan and strategize without any emotion. And so in testosterone, really healthy levels of testosterone really help men disconnect from their emotions so they can plan and strategize, so they can see into the distance and not live in the moment. Like women are neurologically, physiologically designed to be in their emotions and live in the moment. Men are opposite. So they are physiologically designed to let go of their emotions and plan and strategize. So it behooves men to have a more fragile nervous system, and it behooves women to have a more robust nervous system. It also plays into like maternal mother-child bonding and all of that. But that is how it happens. And so we have to think of it that women are the emotional center. and men are once removed. And this is where I had to own my own stuff. I got my own crap. I had a traumatic childhood. I'm like, okay, well, if the center is out, then the orbiter is way out. I'm like, oh, we got lots of women complaining about men, but men are out because women are out too. And I'm like, okay, we're all in it together. We're all in it
So,
together.
so Kerry, I have to ask you, because if you believe, like I do, that we've been here before, and we are that our existence is eternal, and we may have had hundreds of different lives, and some of them are men, some of them are women. If our soul has split apart, does that mean that we are now only going to be a man or a woman from that point, or does it come back together at one point to create the whole, and allow you to do different aspects of it?
So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen 1,000 years from now, 10,000, 100,000. I do not know. This is what I know, that what my soul is focused on. So the focus now is, how do we create a healthy, long-lasting society? And now there's tons of scientific evidence proving that a healthy nuclear family is the bedrock of a stable society. So what I see happening is that, now we're in the time of self-healing. Self-love creates heaven on earth. We all learn to love and embrace ourselves. When I learned to love and embrace myself, my femininity came flying out of me. When men love and embrace themselves, their masculinity will come flying out of them. And then we can, focus on long-term, how do we create a healthy nuclear family? And so this whole, we're going to try the things we could, but that's what I see happening, in the next few thousand years, is that this is what we really need to solidify, because, we're souls having a human experience, and we're killing each other because we don't understand how to love thy enemy, and that the perception of an enemy is the falsehood,
Because there is no enemy, there is only us, and we are all one, and we are all connected. We just don't believe that, because that doesn't serve the ego. Would I be correct in that, my dear?
In a lot of ways. And so, we are all souls having a human experience. Our souls created all of these experiences: Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Judaism, all the different religions, all the different governments. So, like, Jeffrey Epstein, Andrew Tate, two men, I've helped them both, right? So that we can see ourselves and understand ourselves, I think. And now is the time, like, why I'm here talking about past lives. This year, I had to accept all the signs and synchronicities that my soul is the same soul as Mary Magdalene. And my guy from my childhood, whose initials are JC, is the same soul as Jesus Christ. Like, that was gnarly for me to accept. Like, after I published my book, then I had to go hard on all those signs and synchronicities. But I had to accept that the second coming happened in September. It's on my website, that this is the time for that Jesus isn't going to arrive out of the sky. Like, he's had a global security at GoDaddy, former FBI. He's got a lot of darkness he needs to make conscious. He already has in that role. And that's why we're here. Like, I am going to quote Carl Jung, who I highly resonate with. My Blaser is my maiden name. It's Swiss German. Carl Jung is Swiss German. His whole family is psychic. So was mine. Like, I really resonate with Carl Jung. And he said, one does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, like, Jesus dropping from the sky. But so one does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making their darkness conscious. And I could tell you that, he and I were born in traumatic childhoods, and a lot of darkness between us, a lot of darkness. But because I went into my darkness, now I can make the darkness inside the family conscious, the feminism darkness conscious, the religion darkness conscious, the insurance company darkness conscious. Like, I made a lot of stops, right? And so did he. And, and so we're going to make all this darkness conscious to help everybody do the same. but it doesn't mean like, we're of the people. Like, I got kids. I didn't have it easier because my soul is the same soul as Mary Magdalene. I had to take on those wounds and then bring it out of myself to help myself, and then everybody do the same.
Now, Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ existed at the same time.
Yeah,
So how did
they
you
were
do that?
married, and so there's like a gospel of Jesus's wife now. There's other gospels coming out. There's there's a lot more evidence now when people aren't like burning all the books showing that they were married. I mean, he was a rabbi. Rabbis all had kids and wives, and my ex-husband's Israeli. We met in Tibet. Jesus supposedly was in Tibet. And there's just so many signs and synchronicities that, like, my birthday is June 25th, direct opposite of December 25th. And it just goes on and on and on and on. But my next book is going to be on that. But on my website, you can go under origin story and find, my write-up so far. And I go into how difficult my childhood was. Because, Mount Everest-sized wounds for a woman, what is that? For me, that was rape and forced abortions. So I'm just, memories are coming back, and I haven't talked to him yet. But it's gnarly. That's all I can say.
And I want to talk about that, Kerry, because that's huge. To be able to have the courage to even speak about it, let alone sit with it in yourself. And I honor you for that so much. So we love you. And before, I know we need to go to a break, but this is going to explode out of my head, and we don't have to make it long. I just want to know. So as what Kevin asked, I want to take that a step further about when the soul splits. How you mentioned is, do you believe that our soul gives us both lives to live as a female and as a man to experience, and we have to achieve the understanding of each as it changes throughout time? And that's why maybe we can embody both. Like, we're not always going to be a female or always be a man, but we have to learn both in synchronicity with each other. So that's why we have both.
So it's my understanding that we tried everything. It's like, okay, so let's say that Jason is the opposite of my soul. So, Jason and Kerry, right? So in one lifetime, Jason was my son. Does that work? In one lifetime, he was my dad. Does that work? In one lifetime, he was my husband. In one lifetime, he was my enemy. Do you know what I mean? In one lifetime, he was a girl. Did that work?
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, more of like,
we tried all of that
through each filter. Yeah.
So it's my understanding, but this is not an area that I focus on at all. I'm focused on how the healing works, so I can teach people how to, recalibrate their nervous system, right? But we've tried that, and now is a time for self-healing to fully embrace our souls so that we're not fighting ourselves. Because what that did is, if I'm a feminine soul in a man's body, then I'm going to be fighting myself. Right?
I feel you. Okay.
And so we tried everything, learned all of our lessons, and now it's time to bring out, a healthy masculine man, a healthy feminine woman, and really embrace that in society. Because as long as we're fighting here, we can't go to other planets. I mean, just logical,
I get it.
Right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take our break, because this is getting very interesting for me, because a little triggering at one point, because I want to ask Kerry about home. And are we separate and distinct from each other at home, which is heaven? Or are we the same energy that we then utilize when we come here? And is Earth consequential to our ultimate goal as going home for eternally and for eternal life, to live in concert with the energy in the universe? And I hope you follow that, because I'm not even sure I said that right. So we'll be right back in like 30. This is too good. We're going to be right back. Here's another point to ponder by Positive Talk Radio. Our scars are not signs of weakness. They are maps. Proof of the battles we faced and the roads we survived. Each scar tells a story, Each mark whispers of resilience. Don't hide them. Wear them as a reminder that you are still here, still breathing, still becoming. You are listening to Positive Talk Radio, where stories of hope live. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and I said to Brachelle over the weekend, because she asked one of our guests a question, and I said, "You flipped his noodle." Well, you flipped my noodle, and so. Do you remember anything of what I said? I'm not even sure I can repeat it.
Me? Oh,
No,
gosh.
Kerry.
Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
okay.
Oh, shoot. Oh, I thought it was out. Okay. I was a tad confused. You know, I
Okay.
was because you were asking like a million things in one question.
Well, of course, that's how I roll. Because you see, if my belief or my philosophy would be, if we begin on the other side, that's home. That's where we live. That's where we've always lived, and that's where.
Oh, okay. Shoot. My computer's about to die. I need to grab my charger. Can you give me 1 second? Am I being totally rude? I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I'm so sorry.
So-
That's an important question, Kevin. I'm coming back to that question.
Michelle, you are the keeper of the question. You're going to have to remember what I said, because I'm not sure I can repeat it. If you
What
can.
you're saying, because home is heaven, and do we continuously come down to the same place to learn that lesson, or do we experience other life rather than just the earth? Or how did you mean?
Yeah, since we are energetic beings, and heaven, or what I call home, is where we live, and we have soul groups, and we've got different folks, and we've got a council that guides us, and we've got spirit guides who help us and guide us, and other folks like that, and so that is our home. We are coming here to achieve a purpose of to be here, but then we get to go home, and we go back to where we are in the perfect state there, and so that
Like a
if that makes.
reevaluation?
Yeah, and when we are
Nice.
here, learning things, we came here for a specific idea of what we wanted to learn while we were here at this particular time, and it may be because we've done it many, many times and have yet to achieve the stated goal that we set for ourselves before we even got here. Does that make any sense at all, Kerry? Am I gone down a way big rabbit hole?
I know exactly what to say. I got you. Okay. So there is no other place but here, but what is here, okay? Humans only perceive a very fraction of all the different dimensions that are going on. Did you know chickens can see more than us? Chickens.
I know. I used to kill them for a living.
Okay,
I was gonna say, that's why they're so smart. You're so rude.
You never know that human could be before chicken. Like, you need to graduate from human before you get to be a chicken. Like, we don't even know that, right? You know that. Chicken could be an upgrade. We don't know that. So what I'm telling you is that there is only here, like the universe. There's no like other place. Now, there are other dimensions that we don't perceive. Our soul perceives it. We just don't pick up on it as humans.
I agree with that. But when we are, okay, let me phrase it a different way. When we are in our energetic body, which is different than our human physical body, we are in a different, we vibrate at a different level. We are in a different, we're not in a different physical place, because it's all here. It's all the universe. Yeah. But we vibrate at such a higher level that human beings cannot, by and large, cannot. I said something.
Here's the thing, and this is what I had to figure out, right? Is that people say, oh, well, we're light beings, so we don't go in the denser, darker emotions. No, we don't let go of all of our wounds when we cross over. We still have, the challenges inside of our wounds that we have. Yes, we go through our, the questioning period. Like, how did I help Jeffrey Epstein's soul? Okay. And there's a video it's on my website, and that's also on my YouTube channel, about how I helped him. But he was in, as you can imagine, a very dark, dark place. And so another shaman and I went in and gave him the opportunity to release himself, because we are not in control. Like, his soul did that to himself. Like, I also helped Andrew Tate, right? Like, Andrew Tate's soul had to agree that Andrew Tate needed to be in solitary confinement to learn his lessons. So Jeffrey Epstein's soul, after he passed away, decided, oh, I need to be in, kind of like soul level solitary confinement kind of thing. And I mean, it was like, whoa, how'd you get in there? And the people and the energy that was surrounding them, I'll let you watch the video if you want. It's crazy. But then I helped him cross over and go, in what we call heaven, like kind of let go of his need to place himself in solitary confinement, love his soul more, and then, cross over and be with all the other souls in general, what we would call heaven.
Well, okay,
Rochelle?
so I have to ask you this, because you guys you guys are like saying the same thing, but on like two sides, and I'm seeing kind of the middle, because imagine it like a funnel. So let's say that heaven, home, as Kevin is saying, is at the top, right? So we have our first few lives. Through each life, do we kind of go back to that same place where we do the evaluating and we do the, okay, I'm going to go back. These are the lessons I'm going to learn, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You go into another life. When you die, you go back up, and then you just kind of dig deeper and deeper and deeper. But every time you pass, you go back to that highest state of you and decide about your next life. Does that make sense? Is that what you were asking, Kevin?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
like our souls. Okay, so I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm the same soul as Mary Magdalene. All of this has been planned out. Okay, this is one of the, I would say, the funniest synchronicity, and I'm very irreverent. Like, I love irreverent humor. Okay, and this is why it came through like this. So a year ago, so I only accepted it this year, right? So a year ago, I didn't know. So a year ago, my intuition told me that I'm downloading hoe, like a whore or a prostitute, to housewife trauma healing, not knowing that in the 6th century, the Pope decided that Mary Magdalene was a prostitute. And then the Pope in 1969 made her an apostle. And then 10 years ago, they found the gospel of Jesus's wife. So that's exactly like, I had to take myself from believing, from my soul internalized all that. I got to get all of that out of me, the whole that I had fear of being raped and all these other challenges and fear of men, and, that I had in my soul that I took on over all these lifetimes. And so now this lifetime, my heart, my soul is the center of the whole crucifixion wound for Jews, for, everyone involved, right? There's a huge wound on that, and we attract what we are. And right now, Jews are attracting a lot of hate. And they have attracted a lot of hate over, over the generations, right? And that shows how much they hate themselves, that they participated in the crucifixion. So I'm unearthing that wound too. So I had to accept that. First, I had to accept Mary Magdalene. That was one layer. I say you heal in layers, right? Okay. So accept I'm Mary Magdalene. Okay, I was Mary Magdalene. Oh, then accept that I took us through the second coming through an enlightenment experience. Oh, okay. And that was like a couple months later. And then in October and November, write your wisdom of peace plan to teach everyone, how we can finally love thy enemy. And the only way to love thy enemy is self-love. And then I had to come out and say that the second coming, no one's coming to save you. Like, it was like, I had to find a lot of self-belief. Like, so when I say I'm up and down, understand what I'm saying now. Cause like, wow, right? And I'm home alone and I'm figuring this out. Like, I even had to call the police on Jason on September 8th. My intuition finally guided me to like report what happened 40 years ago. And, and now I'm reporting the FBI agent. And then I had told them about my book that includes Andrew Tate. And then I'm like, well, yeah. So Andrew Tate was in there, and that was warm up for the fire department, which is warm up for the FBI. And I had a fear of men and a fear of being raped. Like, whoa, I had to report all that to the police. So, but that's why I'm here. This is divine feminine. Like, as women, I had to find my voice, and I repressed it for most of my life and destroyed my lower back because of it. But I needed all the lessons from being in so much pain. And now I can use my voice, and I hope once and for all, just do away with what we call the patriarchy. Because how I see the patriarchy is when men make decisions without wisdom. And it's kind of like my son's an Eagle Scout, so I know Boy Scouts really well. And so men will resonate with this, and moms of Boy Scouts, like if you've ever had a camporee without any women, that's when the fingers get blown off and the black powder comes out and all the problems happen because there aren't any women around going, maybe that's not a good idea. That might be a little dangerous. No, let's keep the boys away from the knives. Like, oh, that fire might be intense. Let's get the gasoline away from the fire. But that's what keeps men from winning the Darwin Award. So we can, restore divine feminine next to divine masculine in the Western world.
It's also the Jack Daniels that affects men. So great.
So there's more than that. The Jack Daniels too.
Exactly. We've been talking with Kerry Blaser. You're going to have to come back, Kerry, and Brachelle's going to walk you through, or walk everybody through, how to get in touch with you and all of that. Brachelle, go ahead.
Yeah. So thank you again, as Kevin said, Kerry, for being on the show, and the life that you lived. It's like you'd think that you'd be like 90 years old just because you speak of ways it's like, okay, wait, how is that possible? But I've appreciated your time so much, me and Kevin here. Go to her website, everybody. It is kerryblaser.com, and that's Kerry with a K, ERRY, blazer.com. She's got everything on there. Go find the book. It'll all be available, which we have to talk about next time because we kind of suck at keeping on track. And then also, if you can't find it there, go find it on Amazon. Kerry, tell us the name of the book, and then any message you'd like to leave us with this show.
It's My Inner Heroine, Exploring Feminine Pain. And then I have my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies. You can find that on my YouTube channel, or you can find that on my website as well. And those will really help you learn how to move through your emotions and find the wisdom and knowledge within.
Perfect. And the worksheet, the free one you mentioned, is that on?
Oh, it's on the website. I'm just getting up and running. Getting up and running. So maybe in a month or so, it'll be like an easily downloadable ebook. That's going to be my goal.
Perfect.
And that's on the website again, Brachelle. It's Kerry Blaser.
Blaser with an S. Kerry with a K, Blaser with an S.com. Yeah.
You're going to have to come back because I'm a student of Dr. Michael Newton. Do you know who that is?
No.
He wrote Journey of Souls, and it is a hypnosis-driven book about what happens on the other side for us.
Oh, wow.
So I would love to talk to you more about that. He's got the Newton Institute. He's got over 40,000 people that have gone through it and all report the same type of things that are happening on the other side. I would love to talk to you about that. And we can figure that part out. And by the way, this is a great discussion for us to have because we're all in it for the right reason. We want to heal humanity, create love everywhere we go, and make the world a better place to be. Do you agree with that? I think you do.
Me? Oh, totally. Yeah, sounds great.
So
thank you.
I already know that. So thank you, Kerry. And we've gone over time. I'm going to get yelled at again. So, but that happens all the time. All right. Yeah. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got.